You most beautiful asshole, I wanted to say. I don't know why that came up. I feel like I well, first of all, you're not an asshole. Okay, I mean, I don't fucking know you. Maybe you are, and aren't we all a little bit of an asshole sometimes? We definitely all have been assholes in our lives before. But I don't want to call you an asshole because why would I do that? Like I, I don't want to do that. I think it's because I feel a little bit of anger today, and I'm yeah, I'm angry. So apparently that's something that I wanted to say, but I apologize. I apologize for that. I also apologize for the shitty lighting and the stained shirt and stuff. But I was crying a lot today, and so and I'm in bed now. I'm wearing my PJs, and I honestly I don't even want to record this video because I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed, and in any case, so this channel is a channel of self love and joy and happiness and beauty. A channel where I talk about my transformation of being an asshole to no longer being an asshole, although, uh, I mean, I cannot fucking guarantee you that I'm never gonna be an asshole ever again in my life because I probably will be. I'm probably gonna be an asshole in the eyes of a lot of people in my life still because we all are again sometimes assholes. I don't know why I'm talking about assholes today now. I I used to have ideas, or actually I do have an idea of what I wanted to talk about today. I'm always every fucking time I'm writing down, I'm thinking about what do I want to talk about, and as soon as I switch on the camera, I'm not talking about that thing whatsoever. So at this point, I should just stop writing myself notes or anything like that. Okay, that's just a note to myself. Stop doing that. And just letting it flow, I guess. And then you're just gonna end up talking about assholes. Okay, okay, let's just fucking roll with it. But okay, let's get into it. I'm being guided to show up on YouTube and talk about random ass bullshit, apparently, because I don't fucking know anymore why I'm here. I don't even know why I'm here anymore. I mean, but that just goes in hand in hand with where I'm at in my life, obviously. And because I'm so very much in between in between full stop. I used to be a certain way for such a long time, for decades. I used to be the old version of me. And in the last few years, I've been transforming myself out of that old version because at some point I was like, well, I no longer want to be that version of myself because I was in addiction and I uh just had a horrible just life experience that was just annoying as fuck. And so I was like, I kind of want more out of life. What is this shit? Like, let's do something about it. And but I also I was just kind of forced by myself, like my higher self. Like, to me it feels like I didn't even have a choice in this whole transformation thing and deconditioning myself and reconditioning myself and all that, because it just somehow happened. And that's why I'm here now. And I feel like I didn't even have the choice to not transform my life, although we obviously always have free will. But the thing is, if we have a really strong intuition, if we really are very connected to our higher faculties, to our higher guidance, then to not be on your highest path, to not be on your unique, best path of joy, abundance, freedom, and happiness that is so unique to you. Like, that just seems to be so, it doesn't seem like an option, because everything you do in your life that is not leading you on into your highest alignment, it just feels so off, and you know it's wrong. You know you're going in the wrong direction. And I've been going into the wrong direction my whole life. And I just wrote a thread about this today. Like, there is actually no wrong way whatsoever. Like, all the decisions that we make are never really right or wrong, because who makes the rules, right? Like, who decides, well, this is right and this is wrong? You can actually never make a wrong decision. You can of course make morally wrong decisions. You can make decisions that gonna lead you to seemingly dead ends. You can make decisions that bring you more chaos than order, more chaos or unfulfillment than peace and fulfillment, right? You can make all sorts of different decisions that can make you feel, leave you feel less happy. But at the end of the day, still these decisions were never wrong because they are just, they are also guidance, right? Everything in life is guidance. So you take this, make this one decision, it guides you this way, and then it doesn't feel good. So well, that's your guidance, right? That's like, okay, well, no, don't go this way because it's not for you. It feels shit, it's not for you. And that's just the basic rule for following your highest guidance. Everything you do in your life, in every decision that you make, it will always show you something. It will always give you information, right? And if you don't like the decision that you made, well, that's information too. But at the end of the day, your intuition, your higher guidance will always want to lead you into your highest alignment, into your highest path, which is very unique and different for everyone. So my highest path will surely not be yours. Could never be. But but the thing is, I'm always on my path and you are always on your path, right? And even me today being an angry fuck and just being fucking annoyed at various things in my life right now, and just like so much bullshit has happened in the last 2 days. Anyway, um so but I also know that everything is always for me. Like I know that, and I also know that everything that happens in my life that my ego doesn't approve of or doesn't think it's what I wanted, I know that deep down it's always what I wanted. Everything always happens for me, and that's really true because I can only experience the life that I'm experiencing because I choose to make the decisions that I make, if they are conscious or not. And that's the fucking thing. Sometimes we experience things that we are like, I would never choose this path. I would never make that decision if I had a choice, right? But the thing is, no one makes decisions for you but yourself. It's just that so many things that you do, you aren't even aware that you are doing them. You make decisions you aren't even aware you're making because you're an autopilot, because your subconscious takes over. And of course, we are also all part of of the collective unconscious. So of course there will be things that you like, you going through a volcano or something like that, right? Like that's just something that you kind of cannot escape if you live in that area where the volcano hits, right? But at the same time, your higher self knew that you would be in this area. Like these are just things that everything in life truly happens because it's meant to happen that way. And I'm still also settling into this truth, but I know it to be true. And so whatever happens, for example, what happened yesterday, for example, I say for example a lot. I apologize for that. I was like, I can't believe that this is happening, right? I cannot fucking believe that this has happened to me again, because it was something very similar to what happened 20 years ago, and it was one of my biggest traumas. And the funny thing though is, when it happened yesterday again, the reason for it to happen again after 20 years is because I was still carrying the trauma from back then. I still hadn't faced the emotions, the suppressed emotions that I had back then. And yet, I mean, just all of the different all of the different energies that were going on there. And so when it happened yesterday again, I was able to release all of that old wounding from 20 years ago. It was a very, very long loop. Like it happened 20 years ago and it happened yesterday again. And I was like, this is crazy. And it was so crazy just how similar it went down. And it's not the first time in my life this has happened. It's happened to me many times before that I experienced very similar traumas again, because I had to revisit them to then let go, to then be able to let go of the original trauma, right? And so there was like a very similar trauma happening to me again. Wasn't new, and that's just what happens to everyone, right? Like we will go through life situations all the time over and over again until we learn from them, until we grow from them, until we have finally truly faced all sides to it, all parts of it, and then we can let go and move on and actually start a new life. But we have to face these unprocessed traumas otherwise, because they just live within us this whole time. And so when they happen and you don't process them properly, then they will stay with you for your rest of your life. But that's not really what has to happen. It just stays with you for until you are able to come back around and then faced it again. And I think the reason why I faced it again now was because I now was able to fucking process it. It took me 20 years, and that's fucking crazy, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, it's a beautiful occurrence, a beautiful progress, a beautiful growth. And I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy because it happened. And the way I reacted was so, like, I'm so proud of myself, right? And although there was, of course, this part that was like, what the fuck? Why is this happening again? But again, like, I was able to just handle it with such grace, and I'm so proud of myself. And what's the cool thing about it is that it truly made it so that the root trauma now is gone. Or I'm still, of course, like, processing it because, it's only been a day. But it's like you are, I know that it had to happen, and now I'm releasing this very old trauma, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's literally what I've been doing in the last 2.5 years. And I'm sure it has to do with, like, some planet, my planet placements and whatever. I don't know anything about astrology, so I don't really know. But I just had to face all of these childhood traumas and teenage years traumas and everything. And so it's been a really, really hard 2.5 years. But again, like, this is how I felt like I didn't really have a choice. I felt very much like this had to happen, right? And um but what is true though is that we do have free will, and we do make the decisions that we make. It's just that when we feel like we don't have a choice is because there was such a strong pull towards my highest alignment, towards my um highest path, my most abundant, my most free, my most love fulfilled path. And again, we are all being pulled and guided towards that part that is unique to us all the time. God, the universe, the divine, the infinite intelligence always pulls us, wants to pull us onto that path back, because we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to experience joy and abundance and freedom and beauty and all of these things, right? Like, this is our birthright. This is what we came here for. Therefore, we will always be guided back to that path. But because my whole life, or not my whole life, but in the last 20 years, I was in addiction. And in the last 20 years, I was going the complete opposite of my highest path. And I made these decisions, right? And I felt like I didn't have a choice in them because I was so in, because I feel so much, and I'm a very sensitive person, and I just had all these trauma going on within me. So I was overtaken by that trauma, and I was just making the choices based on this trauma, right? And so but in the last 2.5 years, I was starting to work on myself and all that, and then suddenly I could only walk. It was my walk back to my highest path, because I was transmuting these traumas that were living in me. And, like, bit by bit, like a layer of the onion, I would just rid myself of these traumas, and they pulled me back into my highest alignment. But for that, I had to face all of them, obviously. But that also made it so that I felt like I didn't have a choice, because the pull was so strong. It was like, come back home, right? It's enough. Like, it was kind of this thing from God, like, watching me go into these, just being absorbed by a trauma and walking into the wrong direction, away from a highest path for such a long time, that at some point I was like, no, I like, at some point I was aware enough to realize that I was going in a direction that wasn't my highest good. So, but in the last 2.5 years, I went through so many crazy, horrible things because I had to really live these traumas. I had to go back to be triggered again so I could then transmute them because I couldn't, while I was like in addiction, I didn't feel my traumas, right? I was just like walking around doing the things and accumulating more traumas because that's all I knew how to be. And I wasn't able to process all of this stuff. So I was carrying around with me this whole time. And so being in addiction especially means like you feel like you don't have a choice, right? It feels like the outside is controlling you. And that is a very shitty experience of life because you're giving all your power away. You're giving all your power to some external thing. And you, whoever is in addiction or has been in addiction, knows that when that force, like that urge comes, that you, it's like just this thing in your mind, this impulse in your mind is like, okay, you need to now engage in the addiction. And you just, there is nothing you can do with willpower, right? Like everyone who knows about addiction knows how it goes. Like you just, um it's not something that you can have willpower against. It of course helps, but it's a something biological. And when you are very sensitive and all that, and like you, there's people, I know that people just like get out of addiction with willpower, but they still don't address the fucking root problem, and that will eventually lead to more problems. So you will have to deal with the root problems at some point. um Anyway, sidetracked. um but yeah, so in the last 2.5 years, like I was going through such like crazy, like it was the hardest time of my life, fucking hardest time of my life. I suffered majorly, but I also felt like, but the decisions that I made, I still felt like these were the decisions that I needed to make. It didn't feel like it anymore that I didn't have the choice. It's just that the choices that I made were guiding me back home. But to, in order to get back home, I had to go through very like, I had to go through the dark forest, with the bears in it. And just being alone by yourself, and you have nothing to defend yourself with, and all of that stuff. Like it was really fucking scary. But still, I could have not gone through the forest. I could have just chosen to stay in my comfort zone and just building a life that wasn't me, building more a mediocre life that wasn't for me. I could have not faced all of these traumas. I could have chosen to not go this path through the woods. Just building my life, building myself a life that wasn't for me, building a life that other people live. And I observed, and other people was like, okay, other people do it like this, then I should also do it like this. And this is literally what I did for 20 years. But then funnily enough, that's exactly not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be doing my own shit. I was supposed to be what but that's the thing. You're not supposed to do anything. You just do whatever the fuck you want, obviously. But I felt it in me so deeply that I needed to be somewhere else. Meaning, although you're always where you need to be, but there was a place that I wanted to be at more than where I was. And I always had free will. It's just that I wasn't aware that I did have free will for the most time. But my free will took me through such horrible experiences that like it's such a test to the trust in yourself, because all the decisions that I made in the last 2.5 years led me through that dark forest. And so you really have to keep on reminding yourself why you're doing it, and also really fucking trust yourself that at the end of this fucking forest you're gonna come out of this as a winner. You're gonna make it. Like there will be an end to this forest, because when you enter the forest you don't fucking know where the end is. Is there an end? You don't know. You're going into a dog fucking forest. You don't know how large the forest is. You don't know if you're ever going to get out of it. And you don't know if you're going to get out of it, what to expect at the other end. And I'm right now, like I'm at the fucking end of the dog forest, and which is a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it you need so much trust in yourself, and that is obviously part of the forest. You need to remember how much you can trust yourself, and that decisions that you make are for a reason, and you can trust your decisions, and that even these decisions that led you into more trauma, or revisiting trauma, will you actually made them in your highest good. So it's a lot, but yeah, I'm overall really fucking excited about being at the end of the forest, and I just know that's where I'm at, and I've learned so fucking much. But coming back to the whole decision thing, even if I had chosen to not go through the dark forest and stay in the little village, right? The little village in front of the forest, and I had it good there. Let's say I could have gotten some sort of job that I have done forever, and I could just eat the same foods and stay there and don't travel anywhere else, and I would have been fine, right? And that's also a decision that I could have taken. Um, and that decision also wouldn't have been wrong. It just would have been a decision that wouldn't have led me to my most liberated, most joyful life. If it would have been a life of mediocrity. It would have been a life of, okay, it's a life, right? And something in me, and this is why I feel so fucking blessed. My intuition, my higher insight, my higher guidance, my spiritual skills have led me through the dark forest, knowing that I'm making the right decision over and over again without having proof for it. And this is truly how you learn to trust yourself. And that's truly what I had completely lost and forgotten. But then it's the thing, then you're finding yourself in this deep dark forest and you're thinking to yourself, well, that surely must have been the wrong decision. You're fighting the bears and whatever, and you're just thinking, well, this surely cannot be the right decision, right? But then it was, because eventually it got me to where I'm at now. And again, if I had stayed in that village in front of the woods, it still would have been the right decision. It would have been the right decision for those parts of me that were afraid, for those parts of me that didn't want to fucking fight bears in the forest. And could I have blamed them for them? No. So no decision you ever make is right or wrong. And again, I'm not saying killing someone is the right decision to make, obviously. So of course there are like morally wrong decisions, but I mean that in a way that no matter which decision you make in life, you still will always be somehow guided back into your highest alignment. And you always have this inner guidance with you. You're always supposed to get on your highest path. And if you make a decision that goes in the opposite direction, then it will hurt more. If you kill someone, then that experience will hurt you so much and will teach you a motherfucking lesson, right? And maybe you go to jail and you stay there for the rest of your life and you don't come out anymore. And that is you being so far from your truth. Killing someone else is so far from your highest truth that you will suffer the most horrible consequences for that hurt the most. But then you're gonna you're gonna also face the fucking consequences in the next lifetime, right? But still, these will teach you something. At some point, you will fucking realize that what you did was so painful and that's not the way to go. And so it still wasn't a wrong decision in the sense of a higher perspective, because it teaches you how far away you are from where you're supposed to be. I also feel like we all have just this different coding within ourselves. We're just all made out of this different energy, and we're all made out of all this. Oh, like we are, like, me being me, there's so much that goes into me being me. My life experiences, the way I grew up, my environment, where I grew up, in which country, what culture I was around, and then of course the traumas that my parents and my grandparents experienced, like all this stuff. Like there's so much, the stuff I went through in school. Like there's just so much that goes into who is Sandra, right? And the same goes for you, the same goes for every single person. So if anyone outside of you wants to tell you what the right decision to make is, then you can really just laugh at them, because they have no fucking idea what it's like to be you. They have no idea what you had to go through in order to be where you're at. And if anyone tells you, oh, you made the wrong decision, or this is the wrong decision, or you should be doing this, or you should be doing that, fuck them, because what do they know? You know what's best for you. And so, for example, me going through, like, making all these, like, very questionable very questionable decisions in the past few years, to the outsider, these were decisions that were like, what the fuck is she doing? And I get that, but it had to not bother me. It had to be, I had to just not fucking give a shit about what other people think about me. I still did. I still cared about it. I still fucking cared them judging me. And that was another pain that I was going through. It I was so it was bothering me so much what they were thinking. Still, I chose to do the things that I knew deep down needed to be done. And so just stay in your lane, do what you know is best for you. And when something doesn't feel right, then it's because you're moving away from your highest truth. And that's how you know that you are moving away from what feels best to you, from your highest path, right? And that could be so fucking completely different to what your sisters or your brother does, or your best friend, right? It can be this so fucking different. So to look to your siblings or your friends or what your parents say, where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to be doing, fuck them. Like, they don't fucking know what's right for you. Even if they know you so well and they mean well, they don't fucking know how you feel. They don't know your inner guidance. Only you know that. Nevertheless, I understand that it's painful because to be judged by them and to be abandoned by them, and all of these things. Um, but you just have to keep choosing you. If you want the life that is the life that you desire, and you know you're meant for more, and you just wanna live your best fucking life, which we all should want, I guess, when we're here, um, then do what feels right to you and fuck what everyone else thinks. And again, you cannot make a wrong decision, because you will know when you went in the wrong direction, right? You will know. So that decision then wasn't wrong. It was just a decision that led you to more information. Then you make another decision based on that, that will then be more aligned. Okay, and I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love. Bye. Mediocrity? Is that the word? Mediocre. Mediocrity. Mediocre.